Hello, my name is Mankey, and welcome back to another edition of 60 Super Bowls in 60 Days. And unfortunately, I have some pretty sad news. This is the last Super Bowl review of this year, 2025. In about 12 hours from now, at the time that I'm recording this and being uploaded on New Year's Eve, it will be the first day of January, the year of our Lord, 2026. So before we get to our Super Bowl reviews, I wanted to wish you a safe, happy, and prosperous new year and make sure that you are being guided under the Lord in good light and in good manner. But for now, we decided to do one more Super Bowl preview or Super Bowl review, and it's pretty much my favorite. And remember I told you a couple of Super Bowl reviews ago that I talked about the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers would meet and it'll be the most heartbreaking Super Bowl ever for the Cincinnati Bengals fans? This is it. Super Bowl 23, January 22, 1989, from Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. It is the Bengals and San Francisco 49ers duking it out once again, just like they did in the Pontiac Silverdome, in which the San Francisco 49ers went on to win their first Super Bowl under Joe Walsh and under Montana. Now, they did win another Super Bowl, of course, and then they went on to win the third Super Bowl, establishing themselves as the best team of the 80s. And how they do it, my God, it is the most painful, obvious thing ever. If you are a Bengals fan living into this world today, mention about Super Bowl 23 will give them aneurysm or something. But let's get it started. Quarterbacks, Boomer Esiason, 11 of 25, 144 yards and an interception. By the way, here's a little side fact. I did watch the E60 story with his son, by the way. The Boomer Esiason Foundation actually helped his son, get around his breathing. Although it's not a big cure and all that kinds of stuff. The fact that money and science combine to make this impossible. It's an incredible story. And if anybody had the time to watch it, please do so. Please make the time to do so. And if Boomer Esiason is watching this, I hope you and your son are having a healthy life. And I hope, and my way, his son is now a father, by the way. So, a healthy father. 2 kids he has. So, yeah. Anyways, incredible story. Just go and watch it right now. But for now, let's look at the quarterback, Boomer Esiason, who was also not so good in the grand scheme of things. 11 of 25, 144 interceptions and interceptions. 11 of 25, 144 yards and an interception. So, not as good, but kept them in the game. Joe Montana, Joe freaking Cool, as many people call him. 23 of 36, 357 yards and 2 touchdowns. Here's the big stat, of course, in all the Joe Montana Super Bowls that I've done in the reviews. 0 interceptions. He threw none interceptions in all those Super Bowls. It's incredible, the amount of talent that he has on the 49ers team. And there's a lot of talent, but of course. But the fact that he managed to do that with no turnovers, no game-losing turnovers, it's amazing. It is something to behold. It is something to be absolutely behold by so many teams. And so many quarterbacks, even into later years, of course. To do that consistently in all the Super Bowls, it's amazing. Ickey Woods. You know the Ickey Woods shuffle? The Ickey shuffle? Anybody do that? I ain't not going to do that because, it'll be A, embarrassing, and B, will be a waste of time for you guys. I did the last video like 12 minutes long, so I'm going to keep it brief, of course. 20 rushes for 79 yards, 3.95 a pop. James Brooks, 6 rushes for 24 yards and 4 yards a pop. Roger Craig, another great running back, of course, for the San Francisco 49ers. 17 rushes for 71 yards at 4.18 a pop. And then Tom Rathman, 5 rushes for 23 yards at 4.6 a pop. For the receivers, Eddie Brown, 3 catches for 32 yards at 10.67 a pop. Chris Collinsworth, again, we mentioned his name, 3 catches for 40 yards at 13.33 a pop. Jerry Rice. Ah, yes, the great Jerry Rice. I don't even need to tell you about the statistical incredibleness of him. I just have to know that he got 11 catches for 215 yards at almost 20 yards of reception. My God, for a touchdown. Amazing. Amazing. But he was not the main man of this story. He was not the main man of this Super Bowl review. No, good boy. Roger Craig, 8 catches for 101 yards, 12.62, but he was not the main story as well. He also great production. It went to John Taylor, who made the 10-yard catch to seal the victory for the 49ers and win that game. In fact, when San Francisco scored the touchdown late, the win and when they kicked the ball into San Francisco's 8-yard line. And I use AI for this one. Yes, I use AI for research, not rot. Research, but not rot. I look up the win probability before that drive, and it was an 18 to 22% win probability, which means San Francisco had like a 20% probability of actually winning the game. And they were 92 yards from the victory with kind of like a little bit left on the clock. So how did they do? How does the great Joe Montana does on this drive? He did what John Montana do. He just become Joe Cool, calm, cool, and composed, and execute the drive of a lifetime. If you thought the Denver drive against the Browns was legendary, this is legendary. My God. So, start off with Lee Johnson kicking off a no game with Del Rogers going in, and then Joe Montana 8-yard pass to Roger Craig. Then it was a pass to John Frank, and then it was a pass to Jerry Rice. All of a sudden, they were in the San Francisco 30-yard line with 2:16 remaining on the clock. Then Roger Craig with a rush for a yard, then another rush for 4 yards, of course, and then we're at the 2-minute warning at the San Francisco 31. Now, I don't know how many timeouts or anything like that, but they need to drive the length of the field. So, 6 seconds after that, Joe Montana completed Jerry Rice for 17 yards. Then Joe Montana completed a pass to Roger Craig for 13 yards. Then a pass incomplete, of course, by Jerry Rice. And then Montana put an incredible pass to Roger Craig for 5 yards, but it was nullified and penalized for a legal man downfield for 10 yards. So, play was nullified, and that means they're at the San Francisco 45-yard line with 1:17 remaining. There's a second down and 20 from the 45-yard line. You know what he did? Pass it to Jerry Rice for 27 yards, because why not? And then with 39 seconds left, he passes to Roger Craig for 8 yards. And then finally, with 34 ticks on the clock, Joe Montana delivered the absolute dagger to every fan in Cincinnati with a 10-yard pass to John Taylor. It is one of the most calm, cool, calculated, deceptible, brutalizing drives you've ever seen in any postseason game, let alone a Super Bowl, for God's sakes. And Joe Montana was him on that day. And yeah, won the MVP to the surprise of absolutely no one. Wait, did he win MVP? I think he won MVP. I think he won MVP. Let me just look. Let's just look at the numbers. No, it was Jerry Rice. It was Jerry Rice MVP. Okay, not surprising. Jerry Rice was the MVP. No surprise there. But this was Joe Montana in his element. No panic, no rushing, no everything else, just being absolutely even keeled throughout the entire drive and pull off a masterful drive to win the game. But it was not just the offense doing all the masterful job. The defense kept them in it. I think both teams' defenses kept the game in it. Reggie Williams, David Fulcher, and Jason Buck and David Gregg all have a sack, with Williams have 7 tackles. Ray Horton with a fumble recovery. Jim Sco have a fumble recovery. Louis Billups, Solomon Walcott have 4 tackles, all for Cincinnati, of course. For the San Francisco side, Bill Romanowski, interception and 2 tackles. Charles Harley, 2 sacks and 4 tackles. Kevin Fagan, sack and 4 tackles. Then Michael Carter / Daniel Stubbs with a sack. And Darrell Pollard and Harry Cindy with a fumble recovery. So the fact that this game was kind of low scoring at that point with 36 points, if you're a betting man, the under was pretty much in your range. So good job for that. But both teams kept it close, even kill until like the final second. So it was a kind of close game. I think if you look at the margin, of course, it's kind of like the game was close throughout. Like if you let's look at the game. Yeah, it was really close throughout. It was 6-3, and then 13-6, and then 13-3, and then 16-13, and then the touchdown. It was never within like a touchdown. That's how evenly killed this game is. It was never beyond a touchdown. It was never close to a touchdown in the 4 quarters. This was a tight, tense game between 2 great teams facing each other, and it delivered one of the great Super Bowl endings ever. Not one of the best Super Bowl endings. We'll get to that later on. But it delivers one of the best Super Bowl drives you'll ever seen by one of the best quarterbacks to ever grace the game. And the receiving corps was actually great. And San Francisco won their third Super Bowl to establish themselves as the best team in the 80s. So, special teams, a big factor, of course. Stanford Jennings with 2 punt returns, kickoff returns, mind you, for 117 yards, 58.5 a pop and a touchdown. I should, specify differences, of course. But Stanford Jennings, kickoff return, 4 touchdown, of course, that also come into play here. Jim Beach, 1 for 1 PATs, 3 for 3 for field goals. Mike Coffer, 2 for 2 on PATs and 2 for 4 on field goals for San Francisco. Total yards, 229 to 452 for San Francisco. And San Francisco loses the turnover battle 2-1, but won the game either way. So, this Super Bowl is important because, of course, the last second drive by Joe Montana, but it was a fantastic game. It was a fantastic game between 2 good teams, duking it out throughout the entire game, and it was their edge of the seat stuff we haven't seen in so many Super Bowls, of course, in the last couple of years, but it was your edge of the seat stuff, especially in the 80s, and especially for NBC, of course, broadcasting the game. For millions of viewers to watching Joe Montana do what he did in front of millions of people across the world in America, it's something to behold, and it's something that many people will not even forget, except if you're a Bengals fan, of course. So thank you all for watching. I want to wish all you guys a happy new year. 2026 is among us, and we will see you in 2026 for a new preview, and hopefully more previews to come as we go on to the road to Super Bowl 60 in February. Happy New Year.